Hey guys, my name is Mario and I'm here today guys to show you my process of how I edit my videos. I have been asked quite often for me to go into the detail how I usually color grade my videos, and today is definitely the best timing for me to show you into the detail how I usually color grading, especially that I'm collaborating with Dehancer. Dehancer is a software that you can color grade your videos in a really easy way. It's not difficult to use this software, by the way guys, and I will be showing you step by step how I come up with a really raw footage into a really nice cinematic style video. So all the videos that I film on this channel, they are on a DLog, either using my Osmo Pocket 3, which is my best companion for my exploring videos because it's easy to carry and easy to handle. Sometimes I use the camera that I'm filming right now, that is the Canon 5D Mark IV, but it's a bigger camera, but as well I can film in a DLog. Plus my drone that is always with me, that I film as well in a DLog, and another device that I'll be start using, which is my iPhone, that I can actually film in Apple Log 2, which is going to be great as well to use this software. Before we start, I want to clarify one thing. This is the same process I usually use for every scene. The steps don't change, and what it changes is how far I push them, depending on the lighting, exposure, and contrast of the shot. So I will go through the full process once, and for the other clips I will show you the before and after, because the workflow stays exactly the same. And let me talk about Dehancer so that you can somehow have an idea what Dehancer is. So it's a film-based color grading plugin. Instead of building a look from scratch, you are working around the real film behavior, film stocks, development, compression, grain, and optical effects. So it's not just about extreme looks. Is about texture, roll-off, and subtle realism. So I'm now with the Final Cut Pro open, and I have already 4 clips that I'm going to use, and as I said, I'm going to focus myself in one of them to show you all the tools that you have available for you to color grade your projects. And from what I was seeing, I'm going to pick this one, and the reason why is just because I like all those colors all around, especially those couches that they were on the ground, and the greens and the white highlights on the background. And I would say this has a lot of potential. Not saying that all of them they don't have any like the same potential, but by the way, these 3 videos, they are for my next project that is coming soon, so I'm not giving that many spoilers as well. And this one here is one video that I was filming in Portugal in a previous project, which I thought that would be ideal as well to include. So although somehow I'm going to show you the before and after, and this one I will be just going into more detail how to color grade step by step. So once you have the software installed on your computer, you need to go to Effects, and on Effects you just need to go to Film Emulation. On the Film Emulation you will see all the plugins that belongs to Dehancer, and you just drag them straight to the video, or you create a layer for that specific video. I usually prefer to have a layer, so that is what I'm going to do. I will just drag a layer on the top, which now I'm going to make it overall, but it's always better to actually do individually because each clip has different lighting, different colors on the background, and if you just color treat and do some color grading in one of them, it will affect all of them, obviously. But anyway, now I will just keep it this way because the other ones I will then do the adjustments. So once is the layer on the top, what I do next is just drag the plugin on the top, and you see that the colors change straight away, because by default the profile that is on the Dehancer plugin is the codec Vision 3 250D, which is definitely not the ideal for this kind of a scene. Would be probably good for certain videos, but definitely not for this one. But I will come up for this part just in a second. Let me talk about the input. So I always start with the input section. This is where you tell Dehancer what kind of image is receiving. So the camera profile, exposure and color space. And that's why you need to go to source, choose camera, the brand of your camera, and it will somehow adjust to that specific camera. Because every log profile behaves differently, different sensors, codecs, lenses, so this helps Dehancer interpret the footage properly before any look that it will be applied. So the one that I was using is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. You see that the colors change slightly, but it's still showing the action too, and I will pick the Osmo Pocket 3, so that exactly knows what camera I was using. Unfortunately, they don't have one of the cameras that I use, in this case my drone, that is the DJI Osmo, the DJI Mini 3 Pro, that is sad not seeing actually here, and I hope that Dehancer can actually add that on the software in a long term, in a long run. But I thought that somehow the most closest that I can use for my drone would be the Mavic 2 Pro. So yeah, but let's go back to the Osmo Pocket 3. And from there I will choose the film stock. In my case I pick the Kodak Ektachrome E100, and the reason why I pick this one because I like the contrast and color response for this kind of environment. You could see straight away how it changed from the previous one that was the default. For this one it looks nice for the kind of work I do. The push and pull simulates how film is developed. So pushing increases the contrast and grain, and pulling softens the image. As you can see, makes it slightly darker or a bit brighter, in other terms, to be honest. And I usually use very gently. It's more about fill depth numbers, to be honest with you. And just below you have the film developer. So the film developer, it lets you fine tune how the film reacts, things like contrast, behavior, color density and the highlight response. So here you can just be sure that you actually enable because otherwise you will be doing anything like the way I did it before and I couldn't see anything happening. So you just need to enable, of course, and here you can see straight away when trying to boost the color, especially the greens, and that is what I'm telling the reason why I was showing this scene, because I really like the greens on the background and those couch, that it looks amazing, which I'm definitely going to boost the color to look nice and cinematic. And you can just as well control the gamma correction for the scene, make it slightly darker, slightly brighter, but of course you need to keep a nice balance to look nice and even. So this is where basically I balance the image so that feels cinematic without looking processed. So now let's go to the film compression. So on the film compression, this part is super important in my opinion. Film compression controls how highlights roll off, and this is one of the biggest differences between digital and film. Instead of harsh clipping, highlights feel smoother and more natural. So when I just need to tick it as well because it was not enabled, but you see straight away that it changes slightly even when I just, especially here on those windows, that you can see that more detail on the frames than it was before. It's just because the highlights somehow wait, I'm not film compression, I'm just using film compression. Here it is. I was already going to expand, but you can see straight away, and there you can actually play and to see what makes it even more perfect. Just slightly going up, which gives you more detail. If I go down, it will just increase the highlights just over there and overall. So, and the one just below, the one that I was already actually ticking and not the one that I needed to use because it was the film compression. So expand controls how much information is recovered or stretched in the shadows, and highlights before the film response is applied. So in other words, expand affects how much detail is preserved in shadows, and highlights before the film response kicks in. And just below print is essentially the final film print stage. So this is where the image really comes together, the contrast, the color density, and the overall cohesion. So here you can just do the tonal contrast, the color density, and it's so easy. Soon as you get all those small steps, how to go through all of them, you will get like a great image. Because if I will now just go into from what I did so far, and I'm just going to my layer and I just untick my layer, you can see straight away the difference, which it looks already amazing. I want to mention as well that Dehancer is becoming not just a plugin but an independent software, and what you are seeing right now is a new software released by Dehancer recently, which is called the Dehancer Desktop. So basically this software is very similar like Lightroom, but with a real film behavior built into every stage. And if you notice on the right side, is like the same philosophy as the Dehancer Pro, because you have the same tools like the film, developer, compression, print. The only difference is that here you can work directly on your stills instead of your videos, and just like the Lightroom, as I said. And that is actually really cool, because you can turn a really nice shot, because by the way this is supported by RAW, which is really good because you can get a really great balance using the RAW files, or any screenshots from the footage that you are filming, even in a DLog. And here you can basically color grade. So if you know how to work with Dehancer Pro, you will know how to actually do the color grading as well here, and that is like a step ahead, because this is going to give you the cinematic look that you are looking for. And definitely I'm going to use this tool from now on. So this is going to be my first stage for me to give a really nice look before I create my thumbnails. Oh, that looks cool. I actually like the ADOS Color Implosion 100. I like the style. So yeah, so basically from here you can go to Photoshop and do whatever it needs to be done in Photoshop. But the start for the cinematic look here is definitely the best choice. Alright guys, so I have been using the Dehancer for the past few days, and I just wanted to give you now a proper feedback regarding the plugin itself. And because I didn't want to jump straight from after showing you some of the steps by step how to do the color grading, because I wanted to try it a little bit more and see how far I can actually go using this plugin. And I have to say, I'm really delighted, because I usually use quite a few plugins and some other tools for me to do all my color grading for my projects, and I just wanted to focus myself just using this plugin for this project that is coming soon. So, and I have to say that just in a few days I'm already over halfway to actually finish, well, my project is almost done, to be honest, and I'm impressed. Only with a few steps, to be honest, I just got exactly what I wanted to achieve in terms of the cinematic look, and how easy, and the thing is that how easy is to actually use this plugin. Even if you don't have experience at all, if you are watching this video to learn how to do some color grading, I have to say that from a beginner you will just step over for more than just a beginner in just a couple hours. Because all the rest you just learn with time. Because a lot of things you will definitely not get it like in just a few hours or a few days. You will get certain techniques with time. Even myself, that I have like around 14 years of experience in color grading and video editing, and I have to say that I haven't reached the 100%, and I will never do, because it's always something that you need to learn, so you will never get into 100%. That is my opinion. Because we always like to make the things more perfect, and perfection doesn't exist, unfortunately. And yeah, but this is so easy to actually do. Honestly, I'm delighted, and I can't wait for me to do my next project after finishing this one, and in a DLog, because I will be filming in the DLog. All of them, they are filming the DLog, but I'm going to use my iPhone for my next project and film everything in an Apple Log too. So that is going to be a different experience for me, because I have been always using or this camera here, the Canon, or my Osmo Pocket 3, and this is going to be a little bit different, and I want to see how far I can actually go using the Dehancer as well. So yeah, so I can't wait. One thing that I wish that they could add, and talking about the cameras, is that some cameras, they are actually not available on Dehancer, which I wish they could do an update to add those. One of them is the Canon 5D Mark IV, which is not available. Some other cameras as well, Sony, they are not included, which is a shame. And the drones, for example, the DJI Mini series, none of them, they are actually there. And a lot of content creators nowadays, they use these small drones because of how portable they are and how light they are. So it would be actually nice to add them. So yes, is there the suggestion, because it would be cool to see them over there. But it's not a major thing. You can always contour and just do in a different way. But if they are there, even easier. And another thing, and talking about the phone, another thing is I have been using the iOS the past few days, testing it out, and I'm really impressed. I'm actually really impressed how strong and powerful the app is as well. So basically this is like a Dehancer Pro. Honestly, I have basically everything what I need: the source, the films, the developer, compression, expand, print, film grain, halation, bloom, through the app. Guys, wherever you are, if you are filming something, vlogs, any family videos, and you want to get a nice cinematic look, you can actually use the app straight from your phone or the iPad. If you want me to go through the more like into focusing a little bit more into the iOS, I can do that. Leave a comment below if you want to know more about the iOS, more in particular, and I'll be more than happy to explain more into the detail. So yeah, guys, so basically that is what I wanted to talk about. Probably I already talk way too much, but it's because I always talk way too much every time. I don't know if it actually is a good thing or a bad thing. Well, I hope so that is a good thing, because at least the information is out, and it's just my thoughts about that. But go for it, guys. Honestly, the link is on the description below if you would be interested getting the Dehancer. As well, you have my code that you can use, my promo code that is Croft10, will give you 10% off on the subscription of Dehancer, which is really cool and makes the difference. It makes the difference. So yeah, guys, much love, and I will see you all in the next project coming soon in cinemas now. See you later, guys. Much love.